Well, I'm about to reassemble the 301 motor. As you can see, I cleaned the commutator with this common eraser. The round tip, just rubbed it, rub it, rotated it, rub it, and see it. Looks quite different from earlier. So it's ready to go. And what I've done here, before I put these two pieces back together, a couple things I want to make sure, as we mentioned beforehand. This goes in place right here, covers those connectors. This here, as I try this, helps take up the slack so that, and it fits in here, it fits nice and snug inside. So that's what goes there. And before I put this together, right here you see this little ring here. That ring goes down inside the port there, the little hole. And what I did, because I put some oil, some lube in there, and what I used is the Singer lube. It's recommended that for all Singer products, use Singer lube. And I tried cleaning this, oops, there you go, this port here, but I took a piece of wire, pushed it down in there. I'm not sure how successful I was, so what I did, I put the lube down there directly, and on the future recording, I will figure out how to clean that out thoroughly, and I'll report back to you. So before I assemble this back together, I got to put these back in here. They fell out. And of course the little spacer here. It helps keep everything snug. Push it back in there. Now I'm ready to push this in here. Here we go. Push it. Got to work it in there a little bit. Push it in there. Okay. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put the screws back in. One in this side. And just remember, I told you what holds it together, you have these little barrels. It's threaded on both ends. It goes on this side. Push it in there.
Is there a right and wrong end of the barrel?
No.
Okay.
Push it in there. Take the screw. This screw will work itself on one end. That's it.
Just a flathead screwdriver, huh?
Exactly. So it's going into one side. Do this one here, get it started by hand. And then let's take this and turn this.
See, it helps to have a long screwdriver there.
Yeah, I think it's once you get it started, and you can use your fingers, if you choose. You see it's going in, it's going into there it is. This side here, okay, perfect, okay. And then when I put these here, these are the covers that cover the...
So are those screws screwed tight to something, or
Not yet.
Is there a washer on the other end?
No, as I indicated, there's the barrel, there's another barrel. It goes on both ends, both sides. There's a barrel on this side, put this barrel on this side. Then when I put this on here...
What is that?
This is the cap that covers the brushes, as I showed you earlier. And this will just go in place, and you tighten it up. And so you have the barrel right in here, and so it threads to this side, threads to this side, holds it all in place. Okay? But
Is there just one of those, or one on each side?
One on each side.
Okay.
As I showed you earlier, there's one right here and one right here. Okay. But before we do that, we need to put the brushes back in place. Okay. These are the brushes. The brushes, as you can see, this little holder has a spring, and on the brush, it has a little head on there. So we replace the brushes if you need to. Remove this, get the new one, push it over the head, the spring loaded. Put it back in here. Then insert it in here. Oops, it's okay. Move this out the way. And those brushes will rub against the commutator right here.
So right now the brushes are about a ½ inch long.
I may have to get some new brushes. And I'll go to the hardware store. I saw some at Ace Hardware. I just need to figure out the size I need. Go pick them up, go buy them, and just replace them. Just a real simple process.
So they're easy enough to replace. So you're just going to test it with what you have here.
So what I do, put this in here. I'll move my hand out in a minute. It goes right in there. See how the slide right there? They're seated. Now this thing right here it's like a, it goes, gotta push it. This takes a little bit. I've done this before. This is here, and then you kind of push it in there. See how it's in? I'll use a screwdriver to push it down in there. And it kind of locks it in, not so much locks it in place, but it puts pressure on to keep them in place. And they go down in that little groove right there. This is the other brush. You can see. Here's the holder, the spring, the brush itself. Put it in there. The seat's nice. And see, like I did this one here. There's the holder, and now the brush is against the commutator, right in there. And I put this here. This has electrical wire connected to it. And I push this down in here, and it holds it in place. It's nice and snug, like an S curve there. So I want to do that to the other side now. I'm going to rotate this. There's the slot. There's the S curve that's going to keep it in place. And here's the brush. So I'm just going to put this little groove right there. Push it in place. Hold it with my thumb. Take this other wire, and I did as I did the other one. There's the holder. There's the spring, and there's the brush against the commutator. And this is it, holding it in place, nice and snug. There's the barrel. There's another barrel, as I mentioned earlier, and the barrel has threads on both ends. So this will go on one end of the barrel.
So now you push those long screws all the way
Correct.
down, and are you going to screw them tight now? Or
And then what I'm going to do,
okay.
I put the other
Brush
side,
covers on. Okay.
and
With
this
a
will
little screw.
go into the barrel on the other end, because the barrel is threaded at both ends. So this will go to one side of the barrel.
I see. And the long screw goes into the other side of the barrel?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. So nice and seated, and just put this right there.
Not super tight, just
Just snug, because
snug.
this is
Just
made out of
fast.
Bakelite,
Yeah.
and if you get it too tight,
Crack.
you can easily crack it. Okay, that's right. Now we're just gonna tighten this up. This tightens up on the other side of the
Those are
barrel.
the long screw. That's the long screw.
Correct. So we're just gonna get it snug. It doesn't need to be a little tight, just so that it doesn't come apart. There it is. I'll do this one here. Take that tie. There it is. Okay, there it is. Let's put it back together, and all we do is slide up in place like this here.
Is there a right
Just
way?
like
Is there an upside down or a...
Nope, just like that.
Oh. Okay, so the motor goes down. Okay.
And you recall when we first took it apart, and if you don't remember, I told you to write it down. But I just remember because I've done it so. Oops. That the red is on the right. It's nice and snug.
Red wire.
And then the black is on the left. And what's going to hold us in place, let me just push it down, make sure it's nice and snug. What's going to hold this thing in place, this the motor that is this bracket. If I remember, the bracket goes, see the edge, the little notch right here? That goes up in that little notch.
All right.
This sits right in here, there's a little notch right here, sits in place.
Notch at the top, notch at
And
the
then
right.
put the screw in here.
Screw in the center there. Okay.
Get it started by hand. I'd say get it started by hand. There it goes. And I have a larger screwdriver. Just going to snug it up. Yeah, snug. There. We're done.